think cloud strategy is not a politically sensitive issue. It's really about how do you do computing better. And so one of the great things about the cloud is it provides much more agility for the government. So I always say to the bureaus and departments that in a way, using the cloud gives them more freedom to come up with new policies and get them implemented more quickly without the problem of IT being on the critical path. So I don't really see that a change of administration makes any difference at all. Any administration is going to want to have cloud-based services to enable it to act in a more agile and customer-friendly manner. I think it's hard to say. I think it's very early days. Of course, we work pretty closely with our mainland counterparts on how we, for example, collaborate in innovation across the Pearl River Delta. So we have various platforms. There's the Hong Kong Shenzhen Innovation Circle, for example, and we have various collaborations on things like smart city initiatives. How that's going to pan out, I think, is a little bit unpredictable at the moment. But I can imagine that there will be plenty of collaboration, both in the particularly in the private sector, on cross-border cloud services, and then potentially even in the public sector. Well, that's an extremely good question. I think one of the challenges we see in the cloud era is working out how do we procure services, because the procurement they're rather different type of services than the ones we're used to buying. So I think we're having to look at our procurement processes and work out what is the best way to engage with the vendor community on that. So I would say in the immediate future, the best thing to do is to come and talk to us, not just to OGCIO but to other government departments about offers. I think we're at a stage where we're very, very keen to hear different perspectives from different vendors about how they think cloud is going to pan out, and then sometime in the next several months we will start engaging, I think, a little bit more formally with the market, because, as I say, we'll start to want to roll out our initial suite of cloud services to a limited number of departments, but focusing on some particular needs. And at that point we're going to need to actually make some technology choices and make some vendor choices. But as I say, I'm not entirely sure what the right procurement model is going to be for that. Well, at the moment we have a very extensive outsourcing program for system development, so IT projects to build new systems or enhance systems. Typically, I think something over 90% of those projects are, by value, are outsourced to the private sector. Of course, in the cloud world, things are maybe a little bit different. So, as I said earlier, we are planning probably to move to an outsourced or a hosted private cloud model. That'll be a new opportunity for the private sector to provide us with services. Of course, within that cloud there will be an infrastructure cloud, infrastructure as a service. We'll also want to develop platform as a service. And I think the platform as a service services some of them will be quite unique to government. So they will be developed in order to do things like common sign-on for citizens, or receipt of forms by government departments. Those kind of platform services will also need to be developed, and I'm sure we'll, on the whole, look to the private sector to help us develop those platform services. And then finally there'll be application as a service, and of course we will still have customized applications or packages that need to be developed. They may run on the cloud-based infrastructure, but it will still be a role for systems developers to develop those applications just as they do today. Well, I think any IT initiative needs to take account of cloud computing. It's a significant technology trend that's here to stay. So something like the e-health record initiative, of course, it started when cloud was very much in its infancy, before there were really many cloud services available. And even now, of course, commercial cloud services are still not as well developed as they will be in the next year or two. So I can imagine that the e-health record system will in time consider the use of commercial cloud services, or of using the government private cloud. Already the architecture is a services-oriented architecture. It's planned to use server virtualization, so shifting to the cloud will be relatively straightforward. if it's appropriate to do so. Of course, with any cloud initiative, we're very, very concerned about privacy and security, and I think the e-health record project is one of those initiatives where privacy is of absolute paramount importance. So I would imagine we'll probably be a little bit more cautious about using cloud services for initiatives where privacy is absolutely fundamental. One other thing I'd say about the e-health record project is part of that project is to provide services to doctors. And in particular to the smaller practitioners, there'll be a kind of web-based clinical management system that they can use. In a way, you could regard that as being a software as a service offering being provided by the e-health record office to the private sector.